So, hey, it's me, Vicky Marie, and I've got some breaking news for you, and I just had to come on to tell you about it. I won't be on very long, just finished our members live and then saw this news and just had to tell you about it because this case that we've been following, of course, of Jack and Lily, these two little ones who disappeared in Nova Scotia in Canada. And the breaking news is sort of not connected to this case in one way, but their stepfather, Daniel Martell, who many people are very suspicious of in this case, has been arrested. Now, I want to tell you straight away, he has not been arrested for the disappearance of Jack and Lily. He's been arrested for offences against an adult, but very, very serious offences. And we're going to look at them, what he's been arrested for, we're just going to quickly decide or talk about what do we think that means in the case of Jack and Lily? Now, the thing is, I think we all knew that Daniel is not a very nice person, is he? You know, his history of taking drugs, and there was evidence of domestic abuse in the house. Little Jack had black eyes at school and things like that. There had been concerns. And what was very strange that happened just after Jack and Lily went missing, a long time ago now, I think it's 9 months now that these two have been missing, from their home where they shared with their mum, Malaya, their stepdad Daniel, and their child that they had together, Meadow, a baby, just disappeared, didn't they, one Friday morning when they were heard playing in the kitchen, and then next thing they were gone. One of those sort of cases. And Daniel has come under a lot of suspicion, and I've tried really hard not to cast shade on Daniel until there's evidence, because apparently he passed a lie detector test. You're waiting all the time for that evidence that he actually has done something. But I think, we did feel that he maybe wasn't a very nice person, because Malaya, the children's mum, left the very next day after these children went missing, not waiting to see, if they reappeared, because it was thought that they'd walked off into the woods around their home. Now, what mother then would leave? That to me just always seemed strange. She couldn't wait to get out of there. She obviously had fallen out with Daniel. She blocked him on social media. They're not together anymore. They both lost custody of the baby, Meadow, and the baby's being looked after by foster family, and they're just getting visitations, supervised visitations. So there's so many mysterious things about this case that I'm not going to go into all the mysterious things. I've got a lot of videos on my channel about the disappearance of Jack and Lily. But the breaking news tonight, of course, though, then is Daniel, who, as I say, we thought was probably not a very nice person. Well, it seems that he's not, actually. Let's have a look at the chat. I'll just say a quick hello to anybody who's here. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. Hi, Lily. Hi again. Lily's just been on the members line. Yeah, thank you. How could I not come on and say about this? Because it's late night here in Spain. I won't be back on YouTube till the morning, so I just couldn't go to bed without letting you all know about it, because I know my chatters, you're really interested in this case. I think we're all interested in these poor little children. What's happened to them? Doesn't seem likely that they are still alive, but of course it's always possible if they've been kidnapped that they may be alive. That's the only scenario that they could possibly still be alive, isn't it? So let's have a look what it says, what's happened. So then it's massive news, really. Will Daniel, now Daniel's been, it's funny, I was thinking, he's been very quiet lately, hasn't he? Because all throughout this case, he's been quite, he's been talking to podcasters, giving interviews to news channels. And the last couple of months, he has been very, very quiet. But there's been no arrests. The Royal Canadian Police, they've not been, signalling him as a suspect. So, but now he's got these very, very serious charges. Let's have a look at this video. Just need to put the sound.
Is now facing.
So very serious charges he's facing. Now, is it Malaya who's brought these charges? Is it about Malaya? We don't know. We just know that it's a female, I presume, but, we haven't been given the name of who he's supposed to have done these things to, but he's been charged with sex assault of an adult and forcible confinement. Now, is that against Malaya, or is it a new girlfriend or acquaintance?
The stepfather of two missing Nova Scotia siblings is now facing charges of sexual assault and forcible confinement in an incident involving an adult. RCMP say 34-year-old Daniel Robert Martell was arrested Monday morning. He was released with conditions and is due back in court in March. Martell was in a common law relationship with Malaya Brooks Murray, the mother of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. The children, who were aged 6 and 4 at the time, were reported missing on May 2nd, 2025, from their home in Pictou County.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want this one. Hang on.
The federal government is sending 20 additional RCMP officers to Surrey to help.
We don't want to know about that. We want to know about Daniel. Let's go back to it again. So what do you think? I mean, it's sort of not a surprise, is it really? And the thing is, everyone's innocent till proven guilty. We know that. But there's something about Daniel, isn't it? To me, just struck me as quite stalkerish. When Malaya left him. Now, maybe that Malaya knows something about the children's disappearance. I don't know. I don't know what happened to these children. I wish I did. But all I know is these charges that Daniel's now facing, it sort of validates the fact that, he's a POS. Well, if he's guilty, allegedly, we have to say allegedly, don't we? But the other thing that struck me is sometimes it's like sometimes the police arrest people on other charges so that they can interview them about, what they really want to interview them about. If that makes sense. Anyway. So the stepfather of two Nova Scotia children who have been missing for nearly 9 months. Can you believe it's been 9 months? I mean, I remember reporting on the Lilly and Jack case so early on, and 9 months later, no answers. Hi, Tracy. No answers even 9 months later. So he's 34. Daniel Martell is 34. He was arrested on Monday morning. So this is quite a few days ago because we're on Thursday now. Police note that the charges involve an adult victim. So these are not charges, about anything that he's done to Lilly and Jack. Anyway, he's been released with conditions and is due back in court on March the 2nd. Global News has reached out to Martell for comment. And Martell was in a common law relationship with Malaya Brooks Murray, the mother of Jack and Lilly Sullivan. And look at them. Look at their little faces. I mean, Lilly, she's always smiling on her photos. Jack looks that bit more reserved, apparently was, according to the grandma, Belinda. Just look at their little faces. You cannot imagine that anyone could do anything bad to them. Not, surely he can't have done something terrible to them. But it's very unusual for two children to disappear together like that. You know, where are these little kids? Where are they? Anyway, apart from that, of course, this is also very serious, if true, you know, sex assault and forcible confinement. You know, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What is that about? You know, let's have a look at him again. Yeah, there's something about Daniel. Let's just put the sound up. Listen to it one more time. I'm going to look at another bit.
And forcible confinement in an incident involving an adult. RCMP say 34-year-old Daniel Robert Martell was arrested Monday morning. He was released with conditions and is due back in court in March.
Yeah, he looks very haunted there, doesn't he? You know, look at his eyes. And, you know, he's supposed to be not taking drugs anymore, isn't he? He's supposed to be, but it looks to me like he probably is. His eyes look haunted. His teeth, you know, those teeth. I mean, he's only 34, this guy. He's 34 years old. And, you know, at the end of the day, anyone who's taking drugs, you know that drugs age you more than anything, don't they? Except maybe smoking. So you're taking drugs and smoking, so, you know, it's meth and things like that they do. You know, just looking at his face there, he does look like he's sort of haunted in some way. Now, as I say, I don't know what happened to Jack and Lily. Maybe he didn't do anything. He likes to tell us how he passed his lie detector test, and as I say, early on he was talking a lot to the media, mainstream media and social media, but he seems to have been quite quiet lately for some reason. So who is this person that is charged with sex assault of and forcible confinement? Is that Malaya? Is it Malaya? I think Malaya's terrified of him personally. I've thought that right for ages. What is it? But surely if Malaya knew something about Daniel, she would tell. You know, surely she's not been involved. I don't get that feeling from Malaya that she's been involved in Jack and Lily's disappearance, but maybe she knows something, but she's just been terrified to say anything. I don't know. But his eyes, I think, you know, we always say eyes are the window to the soul. Look at his eyes there. God.
Back in court in March. Martell was in a common law relationship with Malaya Brooks Murray, the mother of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. The children, who were aged 6 and 4 at the time, were reported missing on May 2nd, 2025, from their home in Pictou County.
Now, you know what the police will always say, there's no such thing as coincidence. So, you know, seems funny, doesn't it, that these two children are missing and have been missing for 9 months. And now he's being charged with these serious offences. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think there's some connection here. I think Daniel, you know, there's more to come here, 100%, aren't they? So let's see if he comes out and says anything. You know, is he likely to? Or will he? Yeah, I do think it's strange that he's been quiet lately when initially he was so sort of, you know, he was all over the bloody internet, wasn't he, with his interviews and things. Is this why he went quiet? Because he knew that this was coming up? I don't know. Maybe I do feel that the police, do you think the police have taken that opportunity as well to arrest him so that they could interview him more? Let's have a look what Yahoo News has got to say about it. Yeah, I mean, so far, the only details that I can see, they're all going to be the same at the moment. As soon as tomorrow, I doubt if I'll be on again tonight, but you never know if something really important comes up. But yeah, we always felt he was a little bit creepy, didn't we? There's something about Daniel. He seemed to be, do you know what it was with me? He seemed to be enjoying it all too much. You know, at the end of the day, these are two children that have gone missing, two young children, probably dead. And Daniel seemed to be enjoying the media attention, almost reveling in it. You know, when I've seen him being interviewed, like he wasn't crying. I mean, I know he's not the biological father of these children, but they've been living at his property for a while. He was like the stepfather, even though he and Malaya weren't married. And I know he wasn't, you know. And he also, what you've got to remember is Meadow, his daughter, he's a Malaya's daughter. So these are his daughters, half siblings. And they've lived with him. He's been like their dad for a while. But he seemed to be sort of enjoying it all too much. And there were a couple of comments that he made about Malaya that I just straight away, my stalker spidey sense comes out, saying he's like stalkerish way about him, you know, that because he'd turned up, hadn't he, at the court. Do you remember he was taught when he was being interviewed, he said he turned up for his visitation for Meadow. And he'd seen Malaya, and he'd come up behind Malaya when she was in the boot of her car, and he said, "Oh, she smiled." Well, she probably was shitting herself when he came up behind her, and she would have smiled because it'd be like, "Oh my God, I'm terrified. I'm here in this bloody car park, and there's Daniel Martell, who I'm terrified of." Coming up, you know, sneaking up behind me like a creeping Jesus. I don't know if you know that expression. Creeping Jesus, which is someone, you know, just creeps up behind you. And yeah, I just got this feeling that Malay was scared of him. And he was acting quite stalkerish towards her because she left him, didn't she? Instantly after this incident. You know, the children disappeared on the Friday, and the Saturday she was gone. Even though the children hadn't been found, and they could have turned up at any minute wanting their mum. So Malaya, even if she doesn't know that Daniel has done something to these children, I think Malaya perhaps suspects that he has done something to the children. Hey, Westside. Here we are, talking about Lily and Jack, bless them. Yeah, so anyone who's just coming in, the breaking news is that Daniel Martell has been arrested. Let's see if I can find another little news video. Gosh, I mean, this is a big thing, isn't it? I know he's been released, and it's not to do with Lily and Jack's disappearance, but it's significant, isn't it? It's definitely significant because it's unusual to be involved in one serious case, if you like, but now he's been charged with something else equally serious, you know, sex assault and forcible confinement. It just sounds awful, doesn't it? So it's not, you know, it's not shoplifting. It's not even to do with drugs. This is crime against a person. So if it's true, and he has done this, which of course we don't know for certain, you know, it's allegedly, then he'd be capable of much more. That's, you know, it makes it seem even less likely that he didn't have anything to do with Lily and Jack. You know, if he is capable of this, and he did this, Sorry, I'm trying to play a video, but it's not adding to the stage for some reason. What? Add to stage. Oh, there you go. What the hell is that coming up on there? Oh God, I hate this computer with a vengeance. I don't even know why that's coming up there. Why is that coming up there? Ah, consent. Trying to watch a video about it.
Daniel Martell is facing charges of sexual assault, and forcible confinement. Martell is the stepfather of missing children Lilly and Jack Sullivan. RCMP have confirmed they arrested 34-year-old Martell on Monday. Police say the victim is an adult. Martell was living with Lilly, Jack, and their mother when the children went missing from his family. The woods surrounding the home was searched for days, and RCMP Major Crimes has been conducting an extensive investigation. But little is known about what happened to the children, and so far, the case has not turned criminal. Earlier this month, RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon said none of the children's family members are suspects.
I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect. Again, we continue to gather information and whatever evidence that we are able to find, and we'll make our decisions based on that. But we are not in a position to really.
So, the RCMP, they've been very sort of, cautious in what they've said, just like this guy's just said. No, it's like no one's a suspect, but nothing's been ruled out. That's what they said. For people coming in, I can see that people are coming in, they don't know what's happened. Yes, he has been arrested, not connected with the disappearance of Jack and Lilly. He's been arrested and charged as well. So not only arrested, but charged with sex assault of an adult, also regular assault and forcible confinement. That's the only details we know so far. We don't know who the adult is, whether it was Malaya or whether it's another, presumably it's a female, I presume it's a female, though they haven't even said that it's a female, to be fair. All the police have said sex assault of an adult, regular assault and forcible confinement. Now, also, he was arrested. This was Monday. He's been since released on conditional discharge and he's due to go back to court. I think they said March the 1st, didn't they, or something? So, yes, he has been arrested, but not in connection with Jack and Lilly. But what this does tell us, I think what this does confirm to us about Daniel is, he's a pretty creepy guy, isn't he? I mean, it's like whether or not he did anything to Jack and Lilly, he's been arrested and charged for these serious offences. And I think it probably is Malaya. We don't know for sure if these charges are against the things that he did to Malaya, but just a feeling that you get, why did Malaya just up and leave him so quickly like that? And I think that whether Malaya knows about what happened to Jack and Lilly or not, which I don't know if she does or she doesn't, but I think she certainly suspects that Daniel has done something, because why she upped and left him the very next day after they disappeared? Why would she do that? Except that she suspects him. And of course, we have heard that there supposedly has been domestic violence in this relationship. Little Jack was seen at school with black eyes. Child Protective Services were involved with this family. So, there's no smoke without fire at the end of the day. You add all those things together, and now on top of it, these charges. He hasn't just been arrested, he's been charged Now they said they've released him. They'll be keeping an eye on him. They won't want him in prison until they want Jack and Lilly. Let's just think about this now. Sorry, it's just coming into my head now about it. What the police want is Jack to know what happened to Jack and Lilly. They absolutely are desperate to know. And if they feel that foul play has happened and that Daniel is involved in it, and he, maybe when they took him in and charged him with these other assaults, he hasn't cracked. He hasn't admitted to doing anything to Jack and Lilly. But they want to find Jack and Lilly, and they're not. So, maybe that's why they've bailed him, so that they can, what's the words I'm looking for, that they can follow his movements. I mean, I bet he's being watched like a hawk, because does he know where Jack and Lilly are? Is it him who's done something? Is it him that's hidden the bodies? What happens? Children don't just disappear. Well, when they do, it's because something foul play has happened to them. Children they don't run off, like, a teenager could run off and sort of decide they didn't want to be at home anymore and make a new life for themselves or whatever. A teenager could do that. But a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old couldn't do that. They can't cope without their parents. So, they're not anywhere living a new life or, doing anything like that. Something has happened to these children, and probably, I think it's pretty likely, isn't it, that Daniel is involved, but hasn't been proven, and we've got to remember that. Anyway, sorry, let me just carry this on.
Comment on suspects or anything like that at this time.
The mysterious nature of their disappearance has garnered international media attention. Martell has spoken publicly about what happened that day and the months that have followed. Martell is due in Pictou Provincial Court on March 2nd. Ali Thompson, CBC News, Halifax.
Okay, so that's what we'll be looking out for. If there's not any developments before, I wouldn't be surprised if more comes out soon. This could be like the catalyst for the answers. I certainly hope so. So yeah, for anyone just coming in, I am going to wrap it up now because it's quite late here in Spain where I am. It is 11:10 in the evening. Hope you're all well wherever you are in this mad world. But the breaking news is that Daniel Martell has been arrested, but not in connection with the disappearance of Jack and Lilly. He has been arrested for sex assault, regular assault, and forcible confinement of an adult. That's all they've released. So we don't know, we presume it's a woman, but it could be, it doesn't necessarily have to be a woman. But personally, my feelings are it might be Malaya. But I don't know, maybe another woman that he's become involved with. So the one thing I think we do know about Daniel is bad news. He looks sort of reptilian. I shouldn't say that, but there's something about his eyes that is just, have I lost that picture of him? I did have a quite creepy picture of him, but all these pictures, but you know what? You can't hand, draw, and quarter someone because they look creepy, can you? Let's just go back to this. Just to finish off, I just want to go back to this. So don't forget, as always, let me know what you think. That's important. What do you think? Do you think Daniel is involved, or do you think we are jumping the gun a bit? I've tried really hard not to think of Daniel as being involved, but it's been difficult. Let's put it that way. Oops, what's that? Hang on. Here it is. Something about Daniel's eyes. Don't know. Something about him. Go back to it. Just watch this one more time, and then I definitely am. Just for those of you that are coming in later, so you might have missed this. Yeah, see, if you pause that and you look at him, he's got something that, look at his pupils. You know, I mean, drugs will do that too, of course, but there's something there, isn't there? Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll see. Okay, so definitely I'm going now. Just to let one last time say the breaking news is that Daniel Martell has been arrested and, yeah, of SEX charges and forcible confinement against an adult. So thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with any updates, of course, and let's pray for some answers about what happened to Jack and Lily. Take care, and until I see you again, may your God go with you. Bye-bye.